You're watching JKL, brought to you by
Telkom, moving with you. Celebrating our heritage, we are stepping into a bold new future. Join us. Telkom, moving with you.
All right, now he is a 33-year veteran of the police forces, first joined in 1984. Here's some perspective. I was in Form 6 then. But he's only been Inspector General now for just 2 years, since 2015, controlling an entire force of, guess this, 110,000. But he says that's nowhere near enough. We're speaking to Inspector General of Police Joseph Boinet here with your questions, comments, please have them come through. This is the moment, with 19 days and 19 nights to go before the general election. Inspector General, welcome to the bench.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
So the question is, there are people right now with less than 3 weeks to go before the election. People are stocking up. People are worried. People are taking vacations they wouldn't normally take. What do you tell those people? How do you reassure those people that we will be safe during and after the elections?
Thank you very much. I guess those individuals could be stocking up and taking vacation based on the bad side of our country. I suspect basically what happened in 2008. Because we have had quite a number of elections since independence that have passed off peacefully. And there's never been any reason for anybody to stock up and take vacation.
Yeah.
Now, this time round, we have learned lessons from the good elections and the bad ones. Excuse me. And we gotten ready to provide policing service to the electoral process. And we actually started in June of last year.
What's the one lesson you have learned from 2007, 2008?
Preventative action is important, is key.
Are you ready for these elections?
We are ready.
You've been saying this. I've been seeing headlines. You're saying this, but...
I'll give you an example, Jeff.
Go on.
You see, elections is not a one-day event. Well, whereas the big one is on voting day itself, but it's a process. In our case, we started with the voter registration. We had party primaries. We now at the perhaps at the peak of the formal electioneering process. And by any reckoning, by any standard, I think, and we believe, not actually think, we believe it has gone on very well.
Yeah. There's about 41,000 polling stations.
Yes.
You're going to have people everywhere.
Sure.
What if violence breaks out after the counting? And, you know, we're talking about the night of the counting, if the numbers are released and some people are not happy. What are you preparing for? How are you going to prevent that?
We have taken a very, very close look at the entire country. We have done a lot of scenario building, and prepared accordingly. So in the event there is trouble in any part of the country, we will certainly be on hand to make sure that peace is restored within the shortest time possible. Yeah. And we'll do it through a couple of a couple of ways. Number one, should violence break out in any part of the country, in the unlikely event, I must stress, in the unlikely event that violence breaks out in any part of the country, first of all, our response will be quick and will be in strict accordance with the law. And depending on what pans out, our response will be calibrated and measured, again restrained in strict compliance with the law, and will be in accordance with the situation that would have emerged.
Is there a possibility we could go back to what happened in 2007, 2008?
We don't think so.
Are you ready in case anything like that happens?
Yes, we are.
Because election observer missions like the European Union Observer Mission, as well as the National Commission for Integration and Cohesion, have said, you know, look, there's going to be violence. They're worried. They've already expressed alarm that there will be violence. Are they being overreactive?
Well, from our reckoning, we certainly, just like in any other election, there will be people who will be unhappy, others will be happy. And as I said, we are ready for whatever comes up after the elections, after the voting day.
Are your troops, are your forces ready to go 2, 3, 4 days straight through, work throughout?
Yes,
Do you have
they are.
enough personnel?
Yes, we are. Yes, we have.
And speaking of personnel and equipment, I see you've recently introduced some nasty-looking. How do I describe them? They call them anti-personnel vehicles or carriers, but they look pretty nasty, very intimidating.
Why would you describe them as nasty and intimidating?
IG, look at those pictures.
I guess they will look nasty and intimidating to someone who is up to no good. but if you are a good law-abiding citizen,
Yes.
that I know you are,
Yes.
why would you be scared of a vehicle,
It just
of
looks
a car,
real.
of a truck?
It's what's in the truck or what it's spraying out.
What is in the truck and what is sprays out is meant for the bad guys who will attempt to mess up things.
Yeah?
Yes.
What about those funny-looking people in like Ninja Turtle outfits? You know those, who are those guys?
They're not ninjas. Those are police officers outfitted to respond to right situations.
Is that necessary?
It is necessary, and it happens anywhere in the world. And you have traveled. I'm sure you've seen plenty of those guys.
I have.
Yes.
That's why.
Even in the developed democracies.
Yes. So they will be
They're
deployed.
even nastier than our guys.
Are they?
They are.
Are these ones going to be deployed everywhere? These
Just in case.
just in case.
Yeah, just
so
in
you
case.
are anticipating.
No,
Well,
I'm saying we are ready in the unlikely event of violence.
Yeah.
But if it does break out in any part of the country, we will respond very quickly.
Okay, IG, speaking of violence, the president was in Lamu, I think 2-3 days ago.
Yeah.
The night he left Lamu, Al-Shabaab attacked a GSU camp, attempted to overrun it. They attacked it. There was a shootout. The same day the president left Lamu. What does that tell us about our security?
No, unfortunately, in that particular instance, it was way blown out of proportion.
How so?
Yes, and these are facts. I'll give you facts. At 1 a.m., the sentries at the camp noticed some individuals attempting to approach. So, going by the way we organize and secure camps, these individuals were challenged. They did not respond, but they continued advancing. So our officers fired a warning shot, and they ran off. It was not an attack as such.
So it was blown out of proportion.
Completely
But
out of proportion.
The fact that they even attempted.
We do not know who these individuals were. And those are the facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dozens.
But that's not to say,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, Jeff,
Go on.
that's not to say that we have a problem of the risk of terrorist attacks
Right.
in that part of the country.
Okay.
They are there, and we are taking very robust measures to respond.
Absolutely, IG. They are there because there's been dozens, if not hundreds, of attacks on APs, landmines, IEDs being put on the road, and they blow up the trucks and the vans and the Land Rovers. There's been so many attacks in the last several months.
Certainly not hundreds. Certainly not hundreds.
What are we talking? Dozens, let's say. Dozens.
Not even dozens.
Oh,
We can
okay.
talk about tens of them.
No.
Do you want me to recount them? Because I know them.
Go on.
Fred.
Go on.
We had 3 in around Dadaab area.
Mm-hmm.
We have had 3 in Lamu, and we have had one attack at the police station in Lamu. That makes them about 6.
Okay, hold on.
Not hundreds.
May 24th, just a couple of months ago, 5 police officers killed when a vehicle they were traveling in hit an IED. This was in Simo, Arabia, Mandera County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? May 24th, same day, 3 police officers killed, 2 others injured, vehicle overrun in Kulan, Liboy, Garissa. All right? I can go on and on. May 25th, 2 officers killed in Liboy again, Garissa, Malele, Kulan. May 31st, 4 AP officers killed in Baure, Lamu County. There's been lots of deaths.
Let me put it this way, if you don't mind. I'm not saying we do not have a serious threat of terrorism. We do. And I can state without fear of contradiction as it is said, that out of every 100 incidents that come out in the open, out of every 100 that come out in the open, we foil 99. Unfortunately, one could be considered a success on the part of the terrorist, and that what gives us a lot of a problem.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I need to say is that we have taken a lot of robust action working at a multi-agency level, but more importantly for us in the security sector, working with the Kenyan people. They have been fabulous. They have done a great deal of work assisting security agencies battle these terrorists. It is a collective effort. It's not entirely the work of those of us in the security sector alone.
Sure.
It involves everybody in this.
It does indeed, IG. But when you say out of every 100 attacks, 99 are foiled, it's the one that gets away that gives us a feeling that we're not safe. How do you reassure people, especially in Mandera, Garissa, Lamu counties? How do you reassure those people they are safe?
Well, let's not delude yourself that there's something called absolute security. It doesn't exist anywhere, and you know that, I'm sure. But on our part, we have done a lot of work, working with Kenyan people, working collectively with all security agencies to battle terrorism at two fronts: the preventative part and the protective part. Protect our people and go on the offensive. And we have registered lots of successes. It's only there's been a bit of infiltration because of tough, robust action being done by KDF in Somalia. That's where we have had a bit of infiltration lately.
Yeah.
And a lot of work is being done. A lot of work is being done.
So when we hear these attacks, let's say the IEDs being planted on the roads, or just the literal attacks on these on the forces, should we turn around and say that the police are incompetent, or you are doing your job? Because a lot of people say, you're incompetent.
To say we are incompetent will be grossly unfair, and it will be actually an insult to the officers who risk their lives, who live in very difficult circumstances, protecting and defending this country. Not only the police officers, but also members of other agencies. They are doing a great deal of job to protect this country.
Yeah.
And all of us collectively need to support them.
Come election day,
yes,
when people are going out to vote, can you reassure the people out there watching you tonight that they will be safe when they're lining up to vote for their candidates of choice?
We will be on hand to provide security with the resources that we have to the very best of our ability.
Do you have the resources? You said with the resources you have. Do you have the resources?
Yes, we do.
You have everything you need?
We may not have everything that we need, but we have what it takes to provide that
What
security.
would be on your wish list that you would need, IG? What would you need that you don't have?
I can't talk about that on national TV. I can't.
What? You want more drones? You want more? What do you need?
Because if I told you about what I need to
Yes.
do that job,
Yes.
you won't help me. Because I've told the authorities that need to help me
Yeah.
that I need this and this and this, and action is being
So I'm
taken.
useless. I can't even help you, huh?
No, you need to join the police reserve and help us out. Especially in some certain
Areas.
locations in this city.
Correct. Exactly. Exactly.
I can't discount the support of the public,
Yes.
including the media, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, another thing that a lot of people are concerned about is social media and hate mongering, hate messages going out there. What are you doing about that? Because according to experts again, the hate meter seems to be rising. What are you all doing?
The hate meter, it is true, seems to be rising because of the misguided belief on the part of many of those folks who think that whatever they do is under the cover of anonymity. Nobody's anonymous anymore. The other day we had a meeting with the folks from Mheshimiwa Kaparo's National Integration and Commission and the folks from Communication Commission. And they said very, very clearly, you cannot hide.
But they are hiding, IG. They're hiding. They're getting away with it.
Lots of them are facing court charges. I can cite one case.
Cite.
There's a fellow in Eldoret who thought he was operating under the cover of anonymity, and we sprung a surprise on him and caught him. And when he was slapped with a bail of $1 million, his mouth was left agape. He couldn't believe what was happening. That is a warning to fellows who think that they can insult others, do rabble-rousing, and they can get away with it.
Are there others?
Those are things that we cannot allow anymore.
Are there others on your watch list right now?
Several of them.
Are you following up? Are you?
Yes, we are. Working with NCIC, working with the Communication Commission,
Yeah.
and our cybercrime squad.
So you've only arrested one so far.
Not only one. That's the one I could cite. Several of them are facing court charges.
But do you think the message is getting through, IG? Because I don't see it. You know, I open social media every day.
Maybe we are a little bit weak on that front. Maybe we are not publicizing enough. And realizing the kind of circumstances that we are in at this point in time, we have agreed enough is enough, and you're going to be hearing more from us going forward.
Yeah, because you know, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or on IG, not Inspector General, but Instagram, right? You see messages that are equivalent to what we saw in Rwanda in 1994. They're talking like that, like it's nothing. Isn't that disturbing?
Very, very disturbing. And one other thing that really disturbs us is many of those folks who spew that kind of rubbish live abroad. Some are in the States, some are in Europe. But we're working with the relevant entities that run these outfits to help us out, bring those fellows down, or what they are posting down, so that they don't give us unnecessary trouble here.
Yeah. Does that worry you, the fact that hate meter is rising? Does it worry you as...
It does.
What do you tell them if they're watching you right now?
Stop. And we are coming for you.
Can you get them?
Yes, we will get them.
I hope so, IG, because, you know, it's very disturbing, and we don't want to go down that route again.
No,
our biggest fear is going back to 07, 08.
None of us wants us to get that route anymore, or once again, for that matter. And that's why we are taking very, very tough action on those kind of individuals.
In the lead up to the elections, how are you training your forces to be ready for election day? What's the build up?
We have actually been training ourselves, bringing ourselves up to speed, getting ourselves acquainted with the law, giving officers the various scenarios and how they need to respond, training together with IBC, training together with the other national security agencies, based on the various scenarios that we have built. The point is, or the fundamental point that we focus is, we want to give this country a safe and a secure environment so that citizens can exercise their democratic rights freely, without fear. Yeah. That is our guiding principle.
Yeah. No matter who wins the election on the 8th.
Absolutely, no matter who wins the elections. And one other thing that I need to emphasize is that we going about doing our job in strict fidelity to the law, and acting completely impartially, without regard to political affiliation of whether it's a candidate or supporters. Ours is to provide policing service as a national police service.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you getting the support you need?
Yes, we are.
So you're absolutely ready for August 8th now?
Yes, we are.
If the election was held tomorrow, would you be ready?
Yes, we are.
Bottom line, IG, how tough is this job of yours right now? Between now and the next 19 days, how difficult is it for you?
Well, it is I don't describe it as a tough job. It's a responsibility that we are prepared to serve our people to the very best of our ability. Yes.
And you said...
And one other thing, if you don't mind, if I can also add that while we also do our job of providing policing services, we equally expect the Kenyan people to be law-abiding.
Yeah, you expect, but it doesn't always happen that way, IG.
That's why we have jails, and folks get jailed for refusing to obey the law.
Yeah, you haven't jailed anyone yet. You just,
I don't jail anybody. The courts jail them.
Maybe you can keep them in prison, in cells for a few more days. But moving on, how do you respond to claims by the opposition, NASA, that the police, for the most part, are so deep inside Jubilee You're helping them rig the election.
That's a lie.
Well, that's what they're claiming.
That's a lie. Give me the facts, if there are any, because there are none.
That's what they're claiming, Angie. What do you tell them?
That's a lie. Because if we are neck deep in Jubilee, why do they allow officers to surround them from the very, very same National Police Service? We protect them. We secure their rallies. We secure their convoys. So I really do not understand why anybody would accuse the police of being neck deep in Jubilee.
They were referring in particular to an exercise that was carried out at Embakasi Garrison, which you are obviously aware about.
Yes.
They said this was the plan to rig the polls.
That's a lie. We have had two exercises, two totally different exercises. If you don't mind, I can
Please.
let you know what they were all about.
Yeah.
The first one was an in-house thing, bringing together national security agencies from the Republic of Kenya, and ours was to test our preparedness to secure the elections at various levels, including a variety of actors. Number two was an exercise that brought together police forces and police services from the East African region. And this one was to test our preparedness to respond to a major terrorist incident. That's the one you saw covered in the newspapers the other day. So we are not up to any mischief whatsoever.
Had nothing to do with rigging.
Neither of the two had anything to do with rigging. Rigging is an alien term in our vocabulary. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are many police officers who guard VIPs.
Yes.
Many. So the question is, doesn't this affect the number of officers you will need on election day, before, during, and after?
No, it doesn't. That's why it doesn't affect our everyday policing.
It does
And there are
not.
not that many as such. There are not that many.
There are not that many doing VIP protection.
There are officers doing VIP protection, which they are entitled to because of the nature of the job they do for this republic. And it doesn't affect ordinary policing at all.
It doesn't.
Nor will it affect the...
Your numbers are still fine for the election.
We are okay, because I'll give another additional information, because we have incorporated officers from other national security agencies that include the prisons, NYS, KWS, and KFS. So we'll be okay.
Are you going to be deploying those officers as well?
Yes, we will.
All the forces?
Yes.
And this is the one that totals to about 110,000?
No, our numbers will go up when we bring in officers from other services.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing is we have appointed them as special police officers to give them the necessary authority and legal backing to perform their duty.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other day, there were some hotspots that were highlighted, talking about potential hotspots. What are the ones that you are most concerned about in terms of hotspots?
That must have come from some other entities, not ourselves. Because
It came
for
from the
us,
NCIC.
that's NCIC.
Yes.
For us, we understand our country very, very well, and we know what is needed where
Yeah.
and at what time.
Give me an example or two. Tell me, Kibera, let's say, or mention a place or two.
I'd rather we leave it. You see us in action.
You don't want to reveal anything.
Why should I? It won't help anybody.
It'll help me,
Just, I'd rather you see us in action, keeping the peace.
Keeping the peace.
Yes.
But okay, those hotspots that were highlighted by the NCIC, NASA again says, this is, again, the police's way to suppress voter turnout by showing up in numbers and discouraging people.
That is not true at all. Why hasn't anybody complained that we have too many police officers in any part of the country in ordinary times? We always get requests, actually demands, that we have too few here. Give us more.
Do you want more?
Those are the kind of requests we get every day.
Yes.
Yes. So why should anybody be scared that there are too many officers in any part of this country?
Yeah.
And to answer your question, we have absolutely no interest in suppressing any numbers for any political party. On the contrary, our interest and our responsibility is to ensure that the voter, the candidates, IBC, and other interested parties are all safe to go about their business without fear of whatever nature.
In other words, will there be what you call a robust police presence everywhere? Is that what you're saying? Or in every major town, in every major center?
All we will be doing countrywide is to ensure that the voting exercise starts and ends peacefully. That's our job, and we are ready for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, before we go to commercial break, for people who are watching you right now and say, look, there's going to be violence. We know there's going to be violence. We can feel it, we can taste it, we can almost touch it. What do you tell them right now?
Give us that information where that violence might come from.
And what's your reassurance?
If anybody has any information that anybody is preparing to create violence,
Yeah.
we'll be very happy to get that information. Very happy indeed.
All right. IG, let's take a break, come back. By the way, your OCS in Kilimani, Kenoti, is saying that I'm harassing his boss. When OCS, I'm not harassing. Going to take a break, come back and talk some more. We need to reassure these people. We need to reassure Kenyans. Again, many are stocking up, many are leaving the country. A lot of my friends are saying, I don't want to be around to vote. And that's wrong because every vote counts. We need your reassurance, IG.
I'll give you a little story when we come back.
Fantastic.
Or during the break.
Okay. We're talking to the Inspector General of Police, Joseph Boinet here. He's here reassuring us that you and us all will be safe 19 days from now. We're asking the question, is he and his team up to the task? What are the numbers, Monica? Last numbers were 55% of you said yes, 45% of you said no. Keep SMSing 22422. You can tweet us at Koinange Jeff, at JBoynet, at Citizen TV Kenya. Going to take a quick break, come back, plenty more ahead. Don't go away. Jeff Koinange Live. We'll be back in a moment.
JKL brought to you by
Telkom, moving with you. Celebrating our heritage, we are stepping into a bold new future. Join us. Telkom, moving with you.